I tell you, here's my first question to you about Gareth Southgate. Why do you think he still gets a rough ride? Why do you think when the question comes up about would you have him manage at your club, the majority of football fans say no? Why is that?
I've no idea. I think it's a strange one. I think someone who's done such a terrific job on all aspects, his man management skills have been out of this world, his communication skills have been out of this world. He's got all the things you need to be a good leader. And I think he's proved that. People still doubt him tactically under pressure in the big one-off games against better teams who we're not expected to beat anyway, but tactically against the real elite, people still try and find a criticism of him that he makes a mistake. But it's quite interesting, isn't it? But we've had this debate before where if you look at him getting a job in one of the big clubs in the Premier League, how many actual supporters of those clubs out there would have him? It is amazing. Because I thought because his contract was running down. He kept saying, I'll wait till after we qualify and then we'll talk about a new contract. Surely if a club from the Premier League, someone that would be close to him, would come to him and say, listen, I know you're England manager, but we want you to come and do what you've done for England with our club. Promoting youth, getting the right players in, the good environment, the right environment, do exactly the same as you've done with England. Can you do it? I'm sure he would say yes. I'm absolutely convinced he would.
Well, okay. There's been a time over the last few weeks where Newcastle have looked for a new manager, Aston Villa, Norwich.
Aston Villa, he played there.
Why? Of course. Why has his name not been linked to it? Because we've got the World Cup round the corner and there's no way he'd leave, or another reason?
I have no idea. That's what I mean. It'd be interesting to know what, because I think a lot of supporters still out there would say, oh, no, I wouldn't want him at our club. Let him stay with England. It's an easier job or whatever. It's, you know what I mean? He only has to, the work he goes, watch football matches and picks a squad together that almost picks itself. But it's not just that. He has made, Gallagher, when he played last night, was his 50th debutant under Southgate.
Wow.
He has promoted youth. Right, he's also brought in where he's not afraid to change the team. It's not the same team every single game.
No.
So I think he's done a terrific job as manager of England, and I'm hugely impressed. If I ever got a job, right, listen to this, if I ever got a job, within cricket or any other job as a director or whatever it may be, he'd be one of the first people I'd go to and speak to and want to chat to him about the way he's gone about things, because it's outstanding what he's done.
What I think he does, the bond he has with his team, the fact they all trust him, and as you say, he's bringing you through, etc. You can't argue with that. The only thing I'll question about whether or not he can do it at club level, when he's manager of England, he's picking the best English players that he can. And if there's
it's not all the time. He gets
but you know what I mean. You know what I mean.
Players.
If there's 10 minutes to go and he needs a goal, he can bring Calvert-Lewin off the bench, or he can bring Jude Bellingham on, or maybe if he's not playing Sterling can come off the bench, or he's got Jadon Sancho.
Rashford.
He's got top players. Yeah. If he's manager of Aston Villa, if he's manager of Newcastle, etc., and there's 10 minutes to go in a Premier League game and he needs to make a change, he doesn't have that option of a world-class or a potentially world-class player coming off the bench and changing the game.
Well, he could have Danny Ings. He could be on the bench.
You know what I mean. You know what I mean. Yeah. Aston Villa, Newcastle, etc., don't have the depth that England have got. And so that's the only reason why I'd question whether or not he can do it at club level. But if you do talk about Southgate as a club manager, what level do you put him in at? Do you see him managing one of the top 6 sides, or do you see him as...
I think he's the manager of England. He should be up for any job. His name should be amongst the people mentioned. I'm not saying he would be the preferred choice of, say, a Manchester United or whatever it may be, but... I think he's done a good job on the highest stage now, getting to semi-finals and finals, to put his name in the hat. He doesn't even get a mention, and I'm sure it shocks him, but he doesn't get a mention. I'm sure he's deep down, I'm sure he's thinking, I'm doing a decent job with England. It'd be nice to win something. But I think even if he'd have won the Euros, right?
Yeah.
And he was thinking, right, I'm going out on a high here. We've won the Euros. I'm out. I don't think one of the big boys had come after him. I don't think he'd get a job.
That's a great question.
I honestly don't, and I'm surprised by he wouldn't be mentioned in them. I'm not saying he would get it, but I'm surprised he doesn't even get an interview or they go to him and ask him his thoughts.
Okay, let me ask you this: does he know? And there's no right or wrong answer here, because we're blessed with talent certainly going forward. Do you think he knows his best 11? Do you think football fans know our best 11? Or do you think it all comes down to... I'm talking about when everyone's fit. Do you think it all comes down to who we're playing?
I don't think he does know his best 11, but I think that's a positive, because how would you know your best 11? How would you know your best 11 with some of the talent? Just the young players that he's had on show, whether it be Gallagher now, Saka, Smith-Rowe. I mean, you put Grealish in that, even though he's a little bit older. James, Trent Alexander-Arnold, Rice, Bellingham, Foden, Rashford, White, who's not in the squad from Arsenal. You know what I mean? There's so many young players. Greenwood, and how does he pick who's his best three to play up top? Because Kane's in there.
I was going to ask you about that, Gough. If Kane's injured, right, I'm okay with England playing with a false nine. I'm okay with England using, we'll be City's front three with Sterling, with Foden and Grealish. I can't believe I'm saying it, but if we didn't have Harry Kane fit for a game, I'd be more than happy to play that front three. Would you?
Yeah, I prefer to have an out-and-out striker, because you've seen the difference when you've got Harry Kane playing against San Marino and the chances come, he puts them in the back of the net. Abraham came on and scored, and he created, but he did miss an easier chance in the second half. Kane would have scored that, right? That is the difference of the finishing. But Tammy showed last night, but he can do a job if he comes off the bench. He's not in the Kane League, but he's a very talented footballer. Calvert-Lewin has proved... but he can do it as well. So I'm not afraid to go like for like, but the easy option for him, I think, would be to play Foden in that position or someone else, yeah.